Billy shouted it out in the group chat. But last week we had someone PB for top speed and for the jump in the same week. First time it's been done in 3 years. Shoot it, mate. For the AFL group, we're 3 days post game, so we're just back to work today, like we normally do on any other week. And obviously, we're in that situation of 5-day turnaround, but we're all really prepared to train today.
Hey, mate. You gonna have a kick? Oh yeah, he's heading down. A little bit of a progression. We're not going to have the car set out, so Fly's going to sort of move up and down the field, and wherever he decides to ping the ball, we'll just play from there. So, ready to go? Let's do it. Do it. Ross!
Just like to welcome everyone, the Eternal Flame, and to the Shrine for this Anzac Day. Anzac Day is indeed a special day for the club, and it's an honour for the club, ourselves and both Essendon, to just be involved in this day. It's a huge day on the football, but also the Australian calendar. What I think the two clubs in particular, Essendon and AFL, have been able to achieve through a game of football has been substantial in how we now commemorate the day. So through a game of football, which that's how it sort of started. Game of football, we've opened up to new generations around the sacrifices of not only the Anzacs and our war history, but also the people who have served and currently serving, and how we acknowledge and celebrate them. So even when I got to the club in '96, the Anzac Day was still in its infancy. The first official sort of Essendon Collingwood Anzac Day was in '95, the year before. And the first few years, Anzac Day was a big occasion. You had the minute silence, the bugler, and yes, you wanted to play in these huge games and the big crowd. But it took for me a coach with a passion about history and to really open up my eyes about the significance the sacrifice and also the horrors of war. And that coach was Mick Malthouse. I'm assuming you all sort of heard of him. He took it as a job to just teach us about the history and the significance of the day. The build-up would literally start from nearly much the minute after the preceding game. In the lead-up, he'd show us documentaries, we'd watch films. So through this, playing on Anzac Day then started to mean so much more to me. The minute's silence, it wasn't just a minute's silence where you look at the seagulls flying around, you stare at the ground. It was really a chance to reflect and just to look to your left and to your right and to your teammates and just be thankful that you were about to run out to play a game of footy to honour these people and you weren't about to run out over the trenches and be shot at by enemy gunfire. So I really just started to reflect and really take in what the day meant outside of a game of football. So when it comes around, I'm sure you'll all embrace the day, do it proud, really enjoy it. I'd like to wish the guys all the best. Enjoy the day, enjoy the occasion, and whether we're in the crowd as supporters, at home, or in the middle standing in front of 90,000 people, when the crowd falls silent, just take it as a time just to reflect and just sort of realise how wonderful and lucky we are to be in this country. So just like to thank you all for coming here. Thanks Michael for spending the morning, but yeah, go Pies.
62 Magpies, Collingwood players who served in the First World War, and we know their stories too now, so they're not just names on a list. Because we, as a footy club, decided that one of the best ways to honour these soldiers was to tell their stories, was to share their stories and to keep those stories alive. Those stories are all remarkable in their own way, but there are some that have become staples of our Anzac Day preparations each year, and because you're all new or newish to Collingwood, it's important that you know about them.
There was part of the story where guys were 100 miles away from each other in the trenches, but they would write letters back to the club and let the club know that they knew that they were there and they were going to get on horseback and ride over there. So stories like that just makes you stand a little bit taller, knowing that we share a brotherhood at the club, and we've got each other's backs like that as well.
It was pretty special going over there, seeing all the memorabilia and stuff, and we got handed actually a cigarette lighter, and funnily enough that he had it actually on over his heart when he got shot, and it actually protected him, kept him alive. The bullet skimmed off it and it went into his shoulder. So if he didn't have that there, he would have passed away.
Not only told us the story of the cigarette case, which we hadn't known until then, but entrusted its keeping to us forever. They gave it to our museum because they felt that we could continue to tell that story.
Coming into the club, you know, it's a pretty prestigious honour to walk into such a club with such rich history, but to go over there and hear that they used to do that at war, not only on the footy field, but life or death situations, was pretty cool, and something that, you know, that's really big for me as a person, but and big in my game as well. So hearing that they did that, I really want to try and carry that legacy on and implement that on and off the field as well.
It was cool. It was very cool. Got a really interesting tour from one of the service women here of the RAAF Museum, and explained how special this place is to them as the birthplace of the RAAF and the Army Flying Corps in World War One.
Yeah, exactly.
See you, mate. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.